Hogarthian regulator configuration, also known as the long hose or hog loop, was developed by William Hogarth Maine, a world record-breaking cave explorer and pioneer of tech and cave diving minimalism. The Hogarthian system stands as a testament to the ethos of simplicity, embodying the philosophy of less is more, with each component carefully integrated into a cohesive life support system. While many divers erroneously assume that the principal advantage of this configuration is the hose length, which is vital for overhead diving, the true benefit lies in the diver donating the second stage they are breathing from, enhancing safety in out-of-gas scenarios, even while using single-cylinder equipment in open water. Although slight variations have developed over the years, one thing has never changed: the basic minimalist philosophy of gear configuration. When selecting a first stage, it's crucial to consider several characteristics to ensure you make the right choice. One key aspect to consider is the connection type, and we highly recommend selecting a first stage with a DIN connector. Should you encounter a dive center with yoke-type cylinder valves that cannot be easily converted using an Allen key, employing an adapter is a viable solution. Choosing a first stage equipped with a rotating turret and an optional fifth port not only streamlines hose routing, but also enables you to use the same first stage for both twin-set and side-mount configurations. Furthermore, we suggest considering an environmentally sealed first stage, not only for its suitability in cold water diving, but also for its ability to extend longevity by preventing silty water from entering the vital parts of the first stage. The significance of features in second stages diminishes as recent models generally perform adequately. However, one crucial aspect stands out. If opting for a second stage from a different manufacturer, it's essential to adjust it to align with the intermediate pressure of your first stage. We recommend choosing the same brand for both your first and second stages to simplify maintenance and avoid inconvenience. This also makes servicing easier, as many shops specialize in only one brand. We prefer a simple SPG, one that consists solely of brass and glass without any plastic or rubber covers or housing, as these features could hinder your ability to detect corrosion or leaks if they occur. You'll need 3 low-pressure hoses, a long one for your primary second stage, a short one for your backup regulator, and 1 inflator hose for your BC, or 2 if you're using a dry suit. Additionally, you'll require a high-pressure hose for your SPG. You'll require 2 marine-grade bolt snaps, one for the SPG and another for your long hose, along with approximately 60 cm of string to attach them to the hoses. Additionally, you'll need a roughly 60 cm long and 4 mm thick high-quality bungee cord for your necklace second stage, and a cable tie to secure it to the mouthpiece. To assemble your regulator, you'll require an Allen key to remove the blanking plugs from the first stage. We are using a 5 mm one, though this can vary by manufacturer. You'll also need wrenches in various sizes, typically ranging from 14 to 18 mm for connecting the hoses. Although an adjustable wrench can be an alternative, we prefer using the appropriate size for each connection. Additionally, you'll need some silicone grease to lubricate the O-rings in the regulator set. Begin by identifying the connections you intend to use on the first stage, then proceed to remove the blanking plugs from each of them. When addressing hose orientation, we refer to the positioning of the cylinder relative to the diver, so the right side of the first stage corresponds to the diver's right side when wearing the equipment. We allocate 2 low-pressure connections on the right side for the second stages, and another one on the left for the wings inflator. Additionally, a high-pressure connection on the left is designated for the SPG. If you're using a dry suit, the remaining low-pressure connection on the left will be used for that. This first stage includes a 5th low-pressure port. However, for now, we'll adhere to the standard hose routing, which typically having 4 low-pressure ports. Always examine each O-ring before attaching hoses, second stages, and SPGs, ensuring there are no visible damages, and replace them if necessary. While lubrication is mostly recommended for moving parts, we prefer applying lubricant to all O-rings as a precautionary measure. Thread the short second stage hose into the port that would be closest to you when wearing your gear. Throughout this procedure, allow the hose to roll on your workbench or let it hang straight down from the first stage to facilitate easy screwing without damaging the grooves. Secure the second stage to the hose. You can opt for a straightforward attachment or use a 90-degree connection. While the advantage of this setup is the ability to use a shorter hose for enhanced equipment streamlining, it's crucial to consider the potential drawbacks, given that the inclusion of a 90-degree elbow in your setup introduces 2 extra O-rings, thereby adding 2 more potential failure points to your gear. Make your choice based on your personal preference. Since this will serve as the backup regulator worn around your neck, you'll need to add the bungee necklace. Use a roughly 60 centimeter long and 4 millimeter thick bungee with overhand knots at each end. Attach it to the mouthpiece using a cable tie, as demonstrated in the video. Ensure that the cable tie is tightened sufficiently to prevent the mouthpiece from detaching from the regulator, yet loose enough to allow adjustment of the bungee by pulling it beneath the cable tie, which will be essential in certain emergencies that we will discuss in another video. The most effective method for trimming the end of the cable tie is to use a nail clipper, as it rounds it neatly without leaving any sharp edges. Moving on, connect the long hose to the remaining low-pressure port on the right side of the first stage. Consider using a hose of a different color for this purpose. This choice can be helpful when diving with others accustomed to the distinctively colored octopus regulator system, as it allows them to identify your hose more easily during emergencies. Given the length of this hose, screwing it onto the first stage can pose a slight challenge, so you might find it helpful to have someone roll the hose simultaneously with you during the process. Next, connect the second stage following the demonstration in the video. Avoid applying excessive force when securing the hoses to the first stage, second stages, or SPG. Just a gentle turn of a wrench beyond finger tight is adequate. To easily clip off the long hose when it's not in use, you need to attach a small bolt snap. The ideal placement for the bolt snap is about a fist distance away from the base of the second stage. This ensures convenient access to your regulator without the bolt snap obstructing it, while still keeping it close enough to prevent excessive hanging when clipped off. We typically repurpose leftover lines from our spools, but you can use any thin nylon or polyester string for a tidy tie-off. You have 2 options: follow the steps demonstrated in this video, or devise your own method, but make sure it's securely and firmly tied onto the hose to reduce the movement of the clip. After tying the knot, thoroughly examine and test it by twisting and pulling on it, checking for any signs of weakness. You don't want bolt snaps detaching from essential gear, so if the knot appears questionable, it's best to start over. Once you are satisfied with the knot, cut the ends to tidy it up, then burn them to prevent fraying. Many people are hesitant to use an open flame close to their hose, but it is really doable if you are careful enough that the flame isn't directly pointed at the hose itself. Move to the left side of the first stage and attach your BC inflator hose to the port that would be closest to you when you're geared up. Utilize the remaining low-pressure port to connect your dry suit inflator hose if you're using one. Be sure to tighten the connection just as you did with the previous ones. Connect the SPG hose to the high-pressure port located on the left side of the first stage. The threading procedure is identical to that of all other hoses. Remember to use a suitably sized wrench and tighten the hose to the first stage with a gentle turn. Avoid applying excessive force. Given that the SPG includes a swivel facilitating rotation between the hose and the SPG itself, making it a moving component, lubrication is absolutely necessary to ensure its smooth operation and durability. Remove the small O-rings from both ends of the swivel and apply silicone grease before reinstalling them. Take care not to apply too much lube, as it could migrate into the Bourdon tube mechanism and affect the accuracy of your SPG. Use only a small amount of pure silicone grease, just enough to give the O-ring a shiny coating without being visibly thick. Once both O-rings are lubricated and replaced, slide the swivel back into the SPG. Finally, securely attach the SPG to the hose by carefully threading it and gently tightening it with a wrench in the same manner as with previous connections. This meticulous process will help maintain the integrity and functionality of your pressure gauge. To prevent the SPG from swinging around, we secure it to a D-ring on our waist strap using a bolt snap attached to the hose. This involves employing the same method demonstrated earlier with the long hose. Before using our newly assembled regulator set, it is crucial to ensure that all connections are secure and there is no leak in the system. There are several methods to check this, but for now, let's focus on one. Attach the regulator to a cylinder by threading the DIN connection into the cylinder valve. Place one hand on top of the first stage to prevent injuries in case something is not correctly placed or screwed, and slowly open the valve to pressurize the system. Then close it and check whether there's any pressure drop after a few hours, which would indicate a leak. To prepare for potential failures of this nature, consider purchasing a set of O-rings. While complete kits are available, you likely only need a few specific sizes, making a full kit unnecessary. We recommend downloading and printing an O-ring size chart to determine the precise ones needed for your regulator. Order these specific sizes to assemble your own customized kit. The size chart also proves invaluable when replacing seals if uncertain of the size required. Additionally, an O-ring pick is essential to prevent damage during removal. This tool is available individually or as part of a multi-tool, which often comes in handy for other tasks. Thanks for watching and hope you learned something. Consider subscribing to FlowState Divers to become part of the community of conscious divers and to get notified on our upcoming content.